amazing to read the words from the Declaration of Independence. It was a pretty gutsy move 245 years ago. Our country is so young. When you travel to other parts of the world, to Europe, to India, to China, you encounter countries who measure their history in millennia, not just 2.5 centuries. And as with all young things, we are changing, evolving, growing. Especially in the last 5 years or so, it has felt like the gradually changing world that we all grew up in has entered a pretty tumultuous phase where it's hard to know which end is up. It's as if our country has become a teenager. So on the one hand, you could look at all the things that have been surfacing as problems, like, everything from Black Lives Matter to #MeToo to homophobia to Asian hate to indigenous people's right to climate change to gun violence and on and on and on. And you could look at that and say, geez, this is one hot mess. This place is falling apart because it all seems to be coming to the surface at the same time. I can't even tell you exactly where we're going to end up because nobody knows. It's possible to look at all this and get very depressed. Many of these problems are of very long standing, coming directly from the attitudes of the founding fathers. They were a product of their culture as much as we are of ours. But on the other hand, you could look at all these problems that are surfacing and say, thank goodness. Finally, we are telling the truth about what's been going on. And finally, people seem able to hear it. Now, maybe we can make some progress. Because it's really hard to move forward to bringing God's kingdom on earth unless we acknowledge where we actually are starting from. And it's very difficult to heal a wound that is just bandaged over and kind of left to fester while everybody ignores and pretends that it's not happening or that it's okay. It's always been like that. Well, a lot of this stuff isn't okay. It's like you have to take the bandage off the wound and just look at it and go, oh dear, that's even worse than I thought. It's infected by now, it's been festering for who knows how long. It needs to be cleaned out and attended to. And over and over and over again, we are doing that as a country right now. We've been ripping off a lot of Band-Aids lately. So if you feel discombobulated sometimes, you're in good company. We are a very young country, and democracy on this scale is a grand experiment. The fact that we are willing to tackle these problems, I find very hopeful. So as I was pondering all these things last week, you know how you put out into the universe a thought and then the perfect email shows up in your inbox. I don't know how that works, but there it was. It was from Cameron Trimble at Convergence. She'd been reading Joanna Macy. Do you know who Joanna Macy is? The Buddhist eco-philosopher over in Berkeley. And Macy was writing about what she has called active hope. Active hope. She says it's a practice like Tai Chi or gardening. It's something we do rather than have. It's a process that we can apply to any situation with 3 key steps. First, we take a clear view of reality. kind of what I mean about taking the bandages off. You have to look at what the situation really is. Second, we identify what we hope for in terms of the direction we'd like things to move in, or the values we'd like to see expressed. And third, we take steps to move ourselves or our situation in that direction. For Macy, active hope isn't about wishful thinking or denial of the real pain of life. Active hope is about staring directly into the heartbreak, seeing the change that needs to be manifest, and getting to work making it so. Active hope is fierce, it's honest, it's brave. So on this 4th of July, as we pause to remember the sacrifices made to create and sustain this country, the bravery required at its founding and in all the years since, let's also be grateful for the ongoing work in these days to heal the wounds that have been holding us back. They are all wounds of relationship, about how we have treated each other in the past, whether it's men and women, black and white, gay and straight, native and immigrant, even climate change is hard, is about relationship, our relationship to the earth. They are all wounds that bear witness to our failure to recognize the divine spark, the image of God in each and every human being. Jesus left us the guidance, right? Do unto others, love one another as I have loved you. He didn't say it was going to be easy, and it isn't, but we know what the way looks like. And we have some work to do to really become, at least our part of it, a Christian nation. Let's choose active hope for our country. Along with a clear view of reality, let's think about the direction we'd like things to move in. What things we value that we'd like to see expressed. So I want to, this morning, go around the circle and have each of us name something you really value about this country, that you want it either an aspirational value or something that is expressed already that you don't want to lose in all these changes as we clean out the wounds and tell the truth about what's been going on. Karen isn't here this morning, so I'm going to contribute her value, which is diversity. And I'll repeat your words for the Zoomers so they don't miss out. And you Zoomers, you guys be thinking about what you want to say too. Susan, you got a value?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Oh,
I was going to say multiculturalism.
Multiculturalism, okay. Jerry.
Opportunity.
Oh, that was my word, but you can have it. It's okay. Terry says opportunity. And you don't have to invent a new word. You can copy somebody else's. It's okay.
Holly?
Yes, Jan.
My word is choice.
Choice. Jan says choice. Marilyn, you want to contribute a word? Oh, Marilyn said choice too. Okay. Pat? Oh, change. All right. Good. Sammy. Compassion from Sammy. Oh, Butch says freedom to speak out. Hey, George. Something about this country that you value.
That I can be me.
George says that I can be me.
Human connection.
Ah, Eva says human connection.
Even in our
Hope from Lynn.
Equity.
Ah, equity from Peppy.
These are aspirations, right?
They can be aspirational or they can be things we don't want to lose.
Respect.
Oh, respect from Jim.
Education for all.
Marilyn says education for all.
Democracy.
Democracy from John.
Freedom after speaking out.
Oh, Al says freedom after speaking out. Okay.
Ah,
Jane says compassion for others. Peter says improvements. Okay. David, you got anything? Portia, anybody want to contribute?
I say stay with the facts as we move forward.
Portia says stay with the facts. That's my girl.
Open-minded.
David says open-minded. We're all kind of headed in the same direction. Those are good values to aspire to, values, many of them that were in the minds of the founding fathers, at least an aspect of them, if not how we would recognize them today. So this is, 4th of July is always a celebratory day, but I'd like to inject this idea of active hope as we go forward. Keep us on track as we get through our teenage years and our democracy matures and we come out the other side.